Hello and welcome back to another vlog episode from Japan. This vlog series is very special because my father is joining us and it's his first time being in Japan. If you don't want to miss any of these episodes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It was our second day in Hiroshima, one of the most fascinating historical cities in Japan. For all of us, it was also the first time to explore Hiroshima. This day we wanted to see some of the most famous places to visit. So we started right in the morning, with a visit at Hiroshima Castle. Here we entered the castle grounds via the main entrance through the Omotogomon main gate. Immediately after entering the grounds, you will come across the ruins of the Ninomaru Guardhouse. These remains tell a fascinating story. The Ninomaru Guardhouse was once an important part of the castle's defenses and served as accommodation for the guards. Originally built in the 16th century, it played a key role in the castle's defense system. It consisted of robust wood and stone structures designed to protect the castle against any attackers. The guards stationed here were tasked with guarding the castle and its inhabitants and responding immediately in the event of an attack. Unfortunately, the Ninomaru Guardhouse, like much of Hiroshima, was destroyed in the atomic bombing in 1945. Today, all we can see are the foundations and some remains of the walls, reminders of the former splendor and importance of this building. We passed a particularly moving part of the site, the eucalyptus trees that survived the atomic bombing in 1945. These trees are a symbol of resilience and hope. Right next to the trees you can find a beautiful koi fish pond, which creates a peaceful atmosphere. On our way through the adjoining garden, we passed the Hiroshima Gogoku Shrine. This shrine, which is dedicated to the war dead, reminds us of the history and the many sacrifices that were made. But it is also one of the most popular places for celebrating Hatsumode in Hiroshima. If you would like to find out more about the Japanese New Year traditions, don't forget to check out my previous video about it. Finally, we reach Hiroshima Castle itself. Originally built in 1589, the castle was completely destroyed by the atomic bombing. However, it was rebuilt in the 1950s, and today it houses a museum that shows the rich history of Hiroshima and the importance of the castle. Inside the museum, you can admire valuable artifacts, such as samurai armor, historical documents, and models of the original castle. Each floor of the castle tells a different facet of the region's history and culture. If you like, you can also try out how heavy a samurai sword used to be. The highlight of the visit is definitely the breathtaking view from the top floor of the castle. From here you can overlook the modern city of Hiroshima and at the same time feel the historical significance of this place. After our visit to Hiroshima Castle, we made our way to the city's most moving memorials. We visited the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Genbaku Dome, also known as the A-Bomb Dome. This iconic building was once an industrial hall and is located in the heart of the city, near the epicenter of the atomic bomb that was dropped on August 6, 1945. The roof and walls of the building were severely damaged by the explosion, but the foundation walls were preserved. Today, the dome stands in Hiroshima as a memorial against war and for peace. It was also added to the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1996. We continued our way to the Children's Peace Monument, which is especially famous because of Sasaki Sadoko's story, who developed leukemia due to radiation exposure. She folded 1,000 cranes in the hope of being healed from her illness. A Japanese legend says that whoever folds 1,000 cranes will have one wish granted in life. The flame of peace was lit in 1964 and will continue to burn until all nuclear weapons in the world are abolished. It symbolizes the desire for a more peaceful world, free from the threat of nuclear destruction. The Victims' Memorial Cenotaph is another really important site in the park. It bears the inscription, "Rest in peace, for the mistake will not be repeated," and contains a list of the names of all known victims of the atomic bomb attack. Every year on August 6, the peace ceremony is held here to honor the victims. Nearby you can find the National Peace Memorial Hall. The Hall of Remembrance contains a panoramic view of the destroyed Hiroshima and the names and stories of the victims who lost their lives that day. This memorial offers a quiet space for reflection and remembrance of the victims. The sculpture in the middle of the room shows a time, 8:15, the exact time at which the bomb exploded over Hiroshima. Of course, we also visited the Peace Memorial Museum. This museum documents the events of August 6, 1945, and the aftermath of the atomic bombing. The exhibits include personal belongings of the victims, photos and videos that show the suffering and destruction, as well as information about global efforts to abolish nuclear weapons. The museum is a really powerful place for learning and reflection, reminding us of the importance and advocating for a more peaceful world. I really don't want to show you the most horrifying pictures here, also for the sake of the victims' honor. It is best to visit the museum in person to truly understand the emotions one feels when seeing those pictures. I really hope you can understand my decision here. We left the museum with depressing feelings. So we set off to round our last evening in Hiroshima with a nice dinner. We found a place for grilling oysters. If you are usually not a fan of raw oysters, grilled oysters could be a thing for you. Hikaru and I already had experience with grilling oysters in Hiroshima. That's why we wanted to share this experience with my father too. We also got some kaki-gohan together with the oysters. The oysters are grilled on a charcoal grill. If you don't receive a lid for the grill, you may have to deal with random explosions. For seasoning, you usually have some soy sauce, ponzu, and shichimi. We also had a big variety of vending machines to choose our favorite drinks. If you are still not a fan of oysters, you can also try out other mussels and seafood. We also grilled some scallops, which are called hotate in Japanese, as well as some small fish and some octopus.
말해줘 baby 네가 없더라도 난 잘 살고 있다고 라고 말하지만 사실 널 못 잊어.
This was all for today's vlog. Please don't forget to hit that like button if you like today's video. In the next episode we are going to make a trip to Kyoto, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye!
Baby, I owe you, oh yes I do. An explanation maybe. Oh, I know you don't get what I'm saying, 'cause I'm speaking